Good morning and happy Monday. I can't believe it's the start of a new week already. Well, since we're in the month of November, I'd like to talk a little bit about thankfulness today. Now, number one, we should be thankful all the time, not just in the month of November. You know, God does so much for us, so many blessings He gives us, and we gloss over them. We choose to not think about them or just feel like we're entitled to them. But then come the month of November, it's Thanksgiving, and so we focus on thankfulness. And I think we should focus on it all the time. Let me give you an example. Last week, Nat took a trip to North Carolina with a friend to do some work up there, and they were pulling a trailer with some brick on it, heavy load. And I was a little concerned, the distance and the weight of the trailer, and so I just really prayed and I asked the Lord to protect them and give them a safe trip, and let the trailer not have any problems, because he's taken it before and had 3 flat tires. And so anyway, left on Tuesday last week. They came back on Friday, and not one problem. And I'm thankful. The Lord answered my prayer. The Lord protected them, gave them a safe trip, no problems, no breakdowns, nothing. And a lot of times we gloss over that and we'll pray the prayer, but then we don't go back and say thank you. Which reminds me of the story in Luke chapter 17 of the 10 lepers. There were 10 lepers. Now, we don't think much about that nowadays because we have the medical community that can pretty much solve most problems. But back then, they did not have that. And if you had leprosy, you were going to die. And not only die, but you were going to be shunned, pushed out of your family, pushed out of the community, forced to live in a leper colony for the remainder of your days, and your body would disintegrate, just disintegrate away. And so we had 10. Here, this story is 10 lepers that Jesus tells them what to do to be healed, to go wash themselves and go present themselves to the priest. And they did, and they were healed. That was miraculous. There was no other option. They were going to die. And yet they were all healed by Jesus. And you would think that all 10 of them would have run back and just praised God and thanked Him. And, you did this for me. But you know what? Only one did. Only one went back and thank the Lord. And so are we guilty of doing the same things? It might not be leprosy. It might be just a prayer of thanksgiving, or a prayer of protection and guidance. And then when God answers our prayer, we just move on and we don't even thank Him. And I'm really speaking to myself as much as I'm speaking to all of you listening. We need to thank God for every little detail of our life, every little blessing, every little protection. Yesterday, on our way to church in the morning, right before we got to church, my battery light came on my car. Now, I drive a 12-year-old vehicle. It has almost 200,000 miles on it. Let's see, 198,612 to be exact. I can't afford a new car. And so I've asked the Lord to protect this car and to keep it running, and to, give us wisdom on what to do, on how to, keep it running. And so the battery light came on yesterday. And so after church, we had a missionary. We took them out to lunch, and then there's an auto parts store right there by the church. So I said, let's just go ahead and get a battery so that, we don't take a chance of it dying on the way home. So we did. Nat changed the battery in the parking lot, and the battery the light still did not go off. And so he had the people come out and test again, and it was the alternator. And again, we've replaced the alternator, I think, like 3 times on this car. And so Nat said, let's just drive home. It's a brand new battery in there. It should get us home, no problem. But the problem was every time I come to a red light, it would stall. It would just die. And so, you know, it's a 30-minute drive from the church home. So anyway, we made it back home. Nat changed the alternator, and here I am out on the road again today. Praise God. But here's the thing. I am so grateful to Nat for what he did and changed this and, you know, saved us a lot of money by doing it ourselves. But I give praise to God. I'm thankful to God because that battery light could have come on last week when Nat was gone, but it didn't. It was this week. So he was here and he was able to help me. And those are little things, but we really I need to focus on those little things and see that God's hand is in it. God's hand is upon me. God's faithfulness is prevalent in my life and in your life. And I need to be thankful. I need to be grateful of all of these little things. And so I gave you just a few examples today. And I think that we all should really focus on thankfulness every day of the year, not just this month. And so I hope that this resonates with you, and that as you go throughout your day, each and every day, that you'll look at the little things and see that it's not happenstance, it's not coincidence, that God is with you and he covers you and he protects you and he helps you and he provides for you. Thank him for it. Don't be like the 9 lepers that didn't go back. Be like the one that did and said thank you. So have a great Monday, have a great week, and we will catch up again soon.